fees. Percy, you want to come up and talk about it?
Oops, I got the wrong one. We forwarded to you a list of the school fees with an explanation. Basically, what we're asking is for this to be added to the list, which currently reads parking violations, motor vehicle excise taxes, rental charges for school or property, et cetera, to give us another tool to be used really as a last resort for our business office to collect fees, which parents have already agreed to and have accessed the use of the particular things. Do you have any other questions for me besides that?
No? Yes.
Well, a discussion, not a question.
Okay.
Yeah.
Shall we hear from the audience first?
Not, okay.
Mr. Harrington. Kirsty, why don't you sit in case we have more questions? The tall one, he had his hand up.
Yeah.
The good-looking one, Sean. Stephen Harrington, longtime Arlington resident. I'm here tonight to urge you to vote no action on this. If I wanted to find out what Dan Dunn pays in property taxes, I could go down to the assessor's office and see. If I wanted to see what Chairman Rowe paid for a water bill, I could go down to the treasurer's office and I could see that. If I wanted to see what anyone in town pays, I could go on to the various websites that the town hosts and see everyone's water bill, everyone's property tax, everyone's excise tax. Those are things that you put municipal tax liens on. Real property, and the fee is based on the value of the real property. What the school department's proposing is to put a fee on, to put a tax liens on fees that aren't on real property. They're on things that are services. So for instance, if I wanted to look up Jeff Thielman's kindergarten fee, I couldn't see that. If I went down to the school department and asked for it, they wouldn't provide it. If I wanted to find out Chairwoman Starks' high school athletic fees for her daughter on the swim team, I couldn't see that. They wouldn't provide it. So I think there's a transparency issue, first of all, in this warrant article that the school department really hasn't addressed. On top of that, there's really serious accounting issues associated with some of these fees. As you may know, I've spent a lot of time looking at the fees that the schools charge for athletics and for kindergarten. And in athletics, for example, last year they were charging 4 times the cost of the service that was being provided for, say, cross-country. And so that's not a fee, that's an illegal tax. By giving this warrant article the school department authority to tax people, they're granting them authority to tax, which they can't have. Finally, a little anecdote. When my daughter transferred into the Arlington Public Schools in first grade, she had been a kindergarten student at a private school elsewhere. We received a bill for kindergarten from the Arlington Public Schools, which most people who have dealt with the public schools realize their accounting is less than perfect. And if we probably hadn't waded through the dozen or so phone calls to get that bill corrected, who knows, we'd probably end up with a lien on our property that we may not even be aware of until we go to sell the property. So they have, you're asking for a taxing authority on fees that are questionable, with no transparency, and frankly, you're looking for a lot of problems. Thank you very much.
Is there anyone else that would like to talk on this issue? Right now, we'll discuss it among ourselves. Mr. Dunn and then Ms. Mahan.
I'm going to move a recommendation of positive action on the language provided by the school committee. I believe that this is I believe that if you get a service that you should pay for it. And I think that this is a tool that the town has to collect money for people who aren't paying. I think the effect of this is going to be a lot more payment and not many liens, because I think that the threat of the lien is really what matters. I'm not concerned by the transparency issue just because I think the only time it becomes public is going to be when the lien is actually filed. I disagree with the characterization of it being a taxing authority because it's a municipal charge lien and not a tax lien, and I don't think the characterization is right. One other comment is that I heard the hearing on this at the Finance Committee, and one of the concerns was brought up there was that it isn't fair because the argument went, it isn't fair because some of the students, their parents don't own property, and so this is only something that can be essentially applied to some people, and that argument simply didn't bother me. It's a tool that's available to us. We should apply it where it's possible, and for the other parents that, where you don't have that tool, we should find another one. So for all those reasons, I will move approval.
Ms. Mahan?
I take the other point of view. I do not support this. Perhaps if all things were equal with town and school on other financial issues, maybe I'd look at it in a different light, but even still, I can't get past the point that this only doesn't apply to everybody. You're basically getting penalized if you own a home. Also, the other reason that I'm not in favor for it is because we have no authority over any of these fees to set them, nor should we. But now the schools are asking the town, can you help assist us in collecting these fees? When, just speaking for myself personally, and I know for 3 years, I spoke about the surplus that the schools were running and spoke about it on town meeting floor, including when the audit was retooled and reworked and presented in a different way. I find it ironic that the schools are coming to the town saying, can you help us with this one function, when we've gone through even their own, I think, MASBO report. They haven't adopted those recommendations. So fundamentally, in terms of this isn't fair, doesn't apply to everybody. And number two, the nature of fees that you can get a tax lien on your house, I don't think should apply to kindergarten fees and the other fees that are listed.
Okay, well, it's up to me, and I'm
You're
going
going to
to,
pass the gavel to me so you can second it?
yes.
Sorry.
And I'm going to second Dan's motion. I think that we have to help the schools, and this is not something that concerns me. This is, as people have said, it's a municipal lien. I think it's something that people would take to heart, and they're not going to be penalizing people that are in any kind of financial trouble. We have a very good history of listening to people in need, and I'm going to second the motion, and then we will have a vote. All those in favor?
Sorry, all those in favor of the
Oh,
motion?
yes, excuse me.
Aye.
I'm just trying to do it right
Yes, right, okay,
procedurally, that's
okay.
all. All those opposed? No. 2-1 vote.
2-1. Thank you. All right.